controller can only mean one thing. We're playing the Atari 2600 Junior. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be playing E.T. That's right, E.T., based off the actual E.T. movie that released quite a long time ago. This game was programmed by Howard Scott Warshaw, and it released in December 1982 for the holiday season. And it was definitely rushed, and it was not. This game was definitely rushed, but it was not Howard's fault. He had a deadline, a very, very short deadline, and many of the games were returned back to the stores that they were purchased from, and unsold copies were sent to landfills. And there's quite a few games that were sent to landfills, not only this game. And this game always takes the blame for the video game crash in 1983, even though there was much worse games than this. But this game had a lot of build around it. There's a lot of people that definitely went out and bought this game during that time. Now, as you can see on the front of the cartridge, it looks like the cartridge is in pretty good shape. It probably hasn't been played that much. You have a nice graphic right there in the center with E.T. and Elliot. It does say use with joystick controller, 1982 Atari, all rights reserved. And right there on the top of the image, you have E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. And right above that, you have a huge Atari logo with the 2600 on the right side. And Atari was definitely proud of this game when it first came out. But it definitely turned sour real quick. Now, on the end label, you can see E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. Nothing really fancy. There is a serial or something right there on the label. That's 472D. That's pretty interesting. Look at that. The object of this game is you have to collect pieces of a telephone, and the pieces of the telephone are located in random pits, which you'll see in a second. And you also have to collect Reeses Pieces in order to restore energy, because in the movie they actually have Reeses Pieces throughout the whole movie, sponsored in the movie. Now, if you collect 9 Reeses Pieces, you have the ability to call Elliot, and he brings the final piece of the phone. So let's see if this game's really that bad. Let's pop E.T. into the Atari 2600 here, and let's check it out. And right on the first try, E.T. works with no problem whatsoever. Let's see if we can turn the sound level down a little bit. You can see right there on the title screen you have E.T. It's a pretty good Atari rendition of E.T. It's actually a pretty good title screen. You can see the game was copyrighted in 1982. And yeah, so let's start the game here. I mean, the actual music in the background is also pretty good also for Atari standards. Of course, it's debatable. It may make your ears bleed. See if we can push the restart button right there. And we have E.T. landing from a spaceship in... Okay, maybe I have the wrong controller here. That's not the right controller. Hopefully this is it right here. Alright, I got the other controller, and we have E.T. And E.T. has to collect these little square dot looking things right here. Apparently those are Reeses Pieces. What the hell is that? I'm already getting harassed by that scientist guy. I believe that's a scientist. And I don't know exactly. I believe that's either a police officer or a detective or something like that. I'm not sure what that is, but they're actually pretty good looking character models with the clothing and all that stuff. They have a lot of detail. And here's another Reeses Pieces. You have to collect at least 7 or 8 of those to actually win each level, as far as I read. You can run if you hold down the red button. There's that guy again. What the hell is his problem? Get away from me. Hey, we found an object. So yeah, along the ways you have to also hunt for objects. And eventually at the top of the screen it does form an E.T. logo, or E.T. Little thing right there on top. And of course right there it disappeared already. We got another Reeses Pieces here, so far we got 3. And by all means I'm not good at this game at all, so forgive me. We're going to try to see if we can make it through a level. Now, this game was definitely Not the most popular game back in the day. Well, at first it was. It was a very, very popular holiday season item. And, yeah, the game returned back to the stores as quick as the present was opened up. And I fell right back down the hole. What the hell is that? Let's see if we can get out of this hole right here. And I fell right back down the hole again. Yeah, so this game gets a lot of bad rep for being like one of the worst Atari games of all time, but and you know, if you want to be realistic about that accusation, there's probably a lot worse Atari 2600 games than this game right here. Sure, this game is probably not the greatest, but if you try to make sense of how you play the game and you know, all that stuff, it may not be the funnest game in the world, but at least it makes sense. To a certain extent. Maybe not. One thing that doesn't make sense to me is when you lift his head up and you pop into different areas. Like that. What the hell is that? What's going on here? It's like he immediately warps into a different portion of the level. So I don't get that at all. I'm a little confused on that part. Get off of me, you son of a bitch. It is possible that you can fight those guys off of you. Like this guy right here. Yeah, how you like that? Haha, you can't get me. He's warped into a different portion of the level. So yeah, you have to basically find stuff real quick. So there's nothing in this hole right here. We have to get out of this hole. And you see right here we found something. Let's see if we can find something else. Alright, so we have I'm not exactly sure what those symbols on the top of the screen also indicate. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they're supposed to help you out. I really don't know exactly what they do. I don't have the manual to the game. You guys probably know. So if you know what those up direction, left, right, all that, I just fell right back down the hole again. What the hell is that? Alright, let's see if we can go down here. Alright, we found something here. What the hell is this? I believe that this is a flower, if I'm not mistaken. Or something. Let me see here. Now that's actually quite impressive for the Atari 2600. You saw the actual flower blooming right there on the screen, and it had like a whole lot of detail to it for the Atari 2600. That was actually pretty damn good. That was impressive. I'll give the game to that. That was actually pretty cool. So the character models are impressive, and as you can see right there, the little score at the bottom of the screen is counting down every time you move. So we have like less than 4,000 points to go. Once that counts down lower and lower, you die. Basically, that's what happens. So you have a certain amount of points you have to use in order to find each object, or, you know, you have to basically hunt for objects. If you find objects, well, you can probably gain more points. Let's see here. So there's absolutely nothing inside these holes right here. Occasionally you can actually get hints. There's nothing inside that hole either, and yeah. There's nothing inside that hole either, so yeah. Kind of a real pain in the ass game right here, because yeah, there's nothing in there either. Well, I believe this guy may be a scientist or a police officer. Let's see if we can walk this way. What's over here? Oh, we found something. I fell back down the same hole. Yeah, it looks like we're about to die. And the ET has died. He turned pale white. That's really, really disturbing. And I believe that character, the little boy, I believe his name is Elliot, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't watched the movie in a long time. I could be wrong. But yeah, that was him. And surprisingly enough, they put a lot of detail on the characters. Except for E.T. E.T.'s just a green looking alien, but the actual boy had the blue jeans and the red, white striped shirt. I mean, that actually looked like it came out of the movie. That was actually pretty good. So the programmer did an excellent job at that. That was actually great. This game was definitely rushed for the holiday season, so the programmer was given a certain amount of time to finish this game, and he probably could have done a lot more if, you know, if he was allowed to. But for what it is, I mean, what he did here in a short amount of time, this is actually quite impressive. So we click that right there. Unfortunately, yeah, when this game came out, once again, it caused a whole lot of problems. There's a lot of people that was returning this game to the store. It got a bad press from the media, and it was ruled the video game crash. And there's a lot of games that I died. You can see right there. Look at that. Look at the detail on the boy. That's insane. So when ET spawns back, you actually get 1,500 points. Yeah, so once again, this was one of the games that was famously part of the video game crash. I really don't think that this game single-handedly was responsible for the crash. There's definitely a lot of bad games, but this game was what I consider mediocre. It wasn't exactly that bad, but there was a lot worse games that came out besides this game. This game's a bit frustrating and misleading. This is kind of hard telling what you're supposed to be doing, but that's about it. And that's E.T. on the Atari 2600. And don't forget to comment below and subscribe. And yeah, don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you want more episodes of Memory Lane. What the hell are you doing? Get off of me.